I've never made a video like this before, and I don't know how many times I'm going to make in the future, but this is really important. So a few nights ago I watched a movie called The Cove, which is a documentary about the whaling industry in Japan. It focused particularly on a town called Taiji, which is a small fishing town in Japan, and is one of the largest supplier of dolphin and porpoise meat and live dolphins for places like SeaWorld and marine parks and stuff like that. This place in particular has a little section behind a mountain, like around a cliff, out of the view of the actual town, which is nicknamed The Cove. In this place, the fishermen, the local fishermen, come to slaughter dolphins every day. And on average, every year, 23,000 dolphins are slaughtered. Meaning that there's a few hundred dolphins killed every day. Every morning, very early in the morning, a group of about 12 boats sail around the horizon, waiting for the dolphins to come past. They've got these long poles that are connected into the water, and they span out. And they start knocking onto the poles when the dolphins are passing, and it sends out these sonar sounds, reverberations that frighten the dolphin. They create this wall of sound. Then the boats start moving inland towards this one place, the Cove. There's fishermen waiting on the shoreline. A motorboat comes out every morning behind the dolphins. They've got a giant orange net they put around behind so that no dolphins can escape. Then more fishermen are waiting on the coast. They get into their boats equipped with spears, harpoons, knives, hooks, everything. They sail into this area which is splashing with dolphin fins and everything. The dolphins are obviously frightened. They just thrust spears into the water, and then they hook up the dolphins, drag them onto the boats, or pull them out onto the shore, where they slice their throats. Literally, it's about this big, but they slice from here to here, and it's very brutal. There was one bit of footage in particular that the activists had caught on camera. It was of a young baby dolphin who had escaped the netting, except it had already been wounded. It had been stabbed a few times, and you could just see it, going underwater for a second, coming up, breathing air, because they breathe air like us. And every time it went up to breathe, you could see a bit of blood splurting out, and it came up a few more times, and in the background you could just see all the dolphins just spluttering about. You could hear them crying, because they had cameras underwater as well. And this one dolphin, it eventually just stopped coming up, and it just sunk. And the fishermen came together and they dragged it onto the shore, and that was that. The thing that you have to remember the most is that dolphins, they're super intelligent creatures. They've saved human lives countless of times. There's this one story of a surfer who was out surfing with his friend, and he was waiting for the waves, and underneath him he saw a shark, a giant shark, just circling around him. And he thought he was he thought that was that. But then out of the, he described it as being behind a pane glass, when the wave came, he saw something flash past, and it was a dolphin, and it saved his life. And that surfer then started a Surfers for Dolphin organization or something like that. And he was one of the activists that caught this footage on camera. But yeah, back to the most important thing is that dolphins are super intelligent. They're also self-aware, meaning, if they look into a mirror, they see themselves, and they know they're looking at themselves. They move around so they can see what it looks like when they move around. They like to play around, they have fun, they laugh at each other, they laugh at us people. But that also means if they're self-aware of that, they're also aware that they have family, right? They're aware that when they're trapped in that area, in the Cove, they're aware that their children or their parents are being slaughtered. They're aware that they have no chance of escape, and they know that they're being picked off one by one. They're aware that, over there, the mum or the dad is being harpooned through the blowhole even. I have to admit, it really got to me, and it actually made me cry, right? then again, I cry a lot when the animals die in movies, but you know, this is real. This is so much worse. My gut sunk when I saw that footage of that one baby dolphin, you know. And especially after seeing the footage of the dolphins, you know, all happy and stuff. You know, they feel happiness and sadness just the same. Dolphins that are in captivity in places like SeaWorld, you know, they're some of the most stressed out and they're extremely stressed out and they're depressed. You know Flipper, the TV series Flipper, he had a few movies as well. The dolphin that played Flipper literally committed suicide. Because you know how we breathe automatically? Dolphins have to remind themselves that they have to breathe. They prepare every breath, you know. They can decide to stop breathing, and that's what he did. The trainer of Flipper, of the dolphin that played Flipper, he was on the documentary and he said that Flipper swam into his arm, and he looked into his eyes, and he could tell he was sad. You could tell he was just so stressed out from all the things he had to do in captivity there at that place. And he just looked at him and he just stopped breathing, and he wouldn't take another breath until he eventually just rolled on his back and sunk and he died. And you know, it makes me think, how can we do this when it's completely unnecessary? There's no reason to kill dolphins. I mean, they're beautiful creatures. Dolphins are people too, basically. And the Japanese, not all Japanese, the government and the whalers, they have the excuse that they're doing it for scientific purposes, that they're hunting down whales and cetaceans and dolphins so they can study them. That's absolute bullshit, and everyone knows that. And we just have to keep fighting for this cause so they don't. They can't get away with it, so they can change that clause that lets them kill under the grounds of scientific research, when they're actually going to just sell the meat and throw away the rest. We have to do something about it, and this movie really wanted me to try to do something. I mean, I really recommend you watch it. I mean, it's a lot more in-depth than I am right now, even though this video is a bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but still. Basically, if you want to do something, please do something. Check out the links in the description. Most importantly, the link www.takepart.com/the Cove, and there it gives you a few hints at what you can do. You can sign the petition on Facebook against this, write a letter to the Japanese ministers and the Japanese government, and this website lets you do it. You can donate money to the cause, to organizations like Greenpeace, who are trying really hard to stop this. Yeah. And raising awareness by just telling people about this and sending out these links and asking people to help. That will do a lot of difference eventually, because we don't want these creatures, these creatures with emotions, you know, with feelings that are self-aware and they're super intelligent. We don't want them to die out. We don't want to exploit them, you know. So yeah, I recommend watching the movie. It's really good. You'll cry. No shit. No doubt. You'll cry. So yeah.